Good morning, scholars. Good morning, families. Welcome back to another day of growing our brain on YouTube, doing some guided reading. Today, we're going to practice some skills and some strategies that we've been practicing that you already know. So remember that today, when you're watching this YouTube video, I want you to be tracking Miss Rossi just like you would in class. I want you to make sure that you're pausing your video when I'm asking you to pause your video and answer the questions out loud. Pretend like I'm sitting at a table with you like I would be for guided reading. So just pretend, and I want you to answer your questions and make sure you're tracking me and paying attention just like you would in school. If you think you're ready to do that, give me a thumbs up. Excellent job. Okay, we're going to get started right away today because we have lots of juicy things to learn. So first, I want you to look at the screen. And first, we're going to look at our pictures before we answer our warm-up question. The first picture I see, I want you to look at the picture with Jonathan and Juan. Shout out to Robert. I'm sorry, Robert. I know Jonathan's your cousin. Shout out to Robert. Shout out to Juan and DePaul. These scholars were working so hard in their guided reading with Miss Cherney. I love that Robert's hands are folded. Juan is tracking forward. I also want you to notice all the scholars in the background of the picture doing their independent work so well. And DePaul, excellent job. Shout out to you, friends. Keep up the good work. Even if you're at home and you're doing this learning, you should be working just as hard as you would be if you were in this picture or in DePaul or UC. I know that you can do it. Let's look at the next picture. The next picture is a picture of the University of Chicago doing their Socratic seminar, where we're sitting in a circle and answering a question about all of the text that we read. This was our Socratic seminar on Cinderella stories, where we were talking about which character we most admire. Now, I like this picture because all the scholars are tracking the speaker. All the scholars are sitting focused, ready to learn. And that's exactly what I want you to do today, okay? So our warm-up question is, what are you most proud of from your remote learning? So you should all be extremely proud of yourself for doing remote learning on the computer for so many weeks. So what are you most proud of? Are you most proud of your reading? Are you most proud of your Zern? Are you most proud of calling your teachers and talking with them about your learning? Are you most proud of your math work? You're going to pause your video and say, I'm proud of, you're going to say, and tell me what you are proud of yourself for. Go ahead and pause your video and answer that question now. You all should have said something that you're proud of yourself for, because you all should be proud of yourself. I am proud of myself for getting to call a lot of you friends and talk to you and do some reading with you guys. Okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now that our brains are all warmed up, we're going to get started with our first strategy or skill today. Just like we've been practicing, today we're going to make inferences. That means we're going to make a guess about the text, because remember, the author doesn't always tell us everything about a character in a story. So sometimes we have to make a guess or an inference. We have to make a guess or an inference. And when we make an inference, we need two things. Pause your video right now and tell me what two things we need to make an inference. All right, you should have said we need text evidence, and we need schema, Good. What is schema again? Schema is what you know. Schema is excellent job. So we need some text evidence. That means we need to look at our pictures and our words in the text. And we need our schema, which is all the things that we know in our head about a topic. Remember, we're going to use our sentence stem to make inferences or to make guesses to make sure that we are making a guess about the text. So I want you to pause your video now and say out loud our sentence stem. You should have said, in the story, I read blank, so that makes me think blank. That is our sentence stem for making inferences. Nice job, my friends, if you got those questions right. Now remember, when you get to second grade, you're going to be making inferences all of the time. As soon as you get to second grade and all the way in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, you're going to be making inferences a lot. So now we're practicing, we're growing that brain so that when you do get older, you're so good at this skill. Let's move on to the next skill. Just like yesterday, we're going to talk about character feelings. We're going to talk about character feelings. And I'm putting my hands on my heart because a character feeling is the way that a character feels inside. It's the way that a character feels. So in the story, things happen to characters and they might feel a certain way inside. And so we're going to think about our character feelings. If you look at our anchor chart, We have a whole list of different character feelings. I'm going to read through the character feelings now. Please read along with me as I say the words. Get ready. We're reading on 2, 1, 2. Shocked, hopeful, jealous, surprised, excited, safe, anxious, embarrassed, thrilled, worried, disappointed, discouraged, uneasy, desperate, confused, happy, regretful, exhausted, content, sad, annoyed, nervous. Nice job if you read those character feelings with me. Now, those aren't all the character feelings. If you remember in your classrooms, we have like 4 or 5 charts of character feelings, but those are some character feelings that we can use to talk about how a character feels on the inside. Let's do a little bit of practice. Now, I chose some emojis today to help us practice with our character feelings. Now, of course, in our story, we don't have emojis as characters, but we're going to look at the emoji faces, because when you're reading a text, a lot of times the way the character feels, you can see on the character's face. So we're going to look at all these faces, and we're going to talk about what we think these characters are feeling. Okay, I'm going to write some numbers on these smileys so that we can look at them and talk about which emotion or character feeling goes with each of these emojis. All right, let's look at number 1. Number 1, the character's going like this. Pause your video and say how you think the number 1 character feels. Go ahead and do that now. I would say the character feels nervous or worried or confused. Those are all good character feelings that character feels. Let's go to number 2. In number 2, the character is smiling. Tell me how the character feels in number 2. Good, you should have said the character is happy or proud or thrilled or excited. Good job. Let's go to number 3. Oh, I see a teardrop on number 3, the character for number 3. So tell me how character 3 feels. The character feels sad or disappointed or upset. Really nice job if you use those adjectives to describe that character feeling. Let's look at number 4. How does character number 4 feel? Go ahead and say the answer out loud. Yeah, the character feels frustrated or upset or angry or furious. Nice job if you use those juicy adjectives for number 4. I want you to look at character number 5. How does character number 5 feel? Yes, character number 5 feels surprised or shocked or confused. Maybe you could say scared. Very nice job for number 5. Let's go to the last one. Number 6 is juicy. I want you to get creative with number 6. Number 6, how do you think character number 6 feels? Go ahead and say it out loud now. I would say character 6 feels silly or crazy or excited or fun. This character is kind of going crazy. I think he's probably silly. He's probably funny, laughing. Those are the way that character 6 feels, because I looked at their face to see how they feel. Let's go ahead and get started with our book today. Really nice job with those character feelings. If you got all those character feelings right, give yourself a pat on the back and go on to the other side. Excellent job. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our book today. Now, today we're reading a story called The Spelling Bee. It's called, now you might remember, I'm already using my schema. I'm already using what I know about spelling bees. Show me connection if you remember our Great Lakes Academy spelling bee that we had. All right, so we're tapping into our schema. We're tapping into what we know about spelling bees. We know that in spelling bees, you stand up and you spell words correctly, and if you win, then you get to spell against some other kids at our school. So in our book today, The Spelling Bee, we're going to read about a character named Jasmine who participates in the spelling bee, and she has different feelings about being in the spelling bee. So we're going to make inferences, and we're going to think about how she feels. I would like to take this time to give a quick shout out to all the UC and DePaul scholars who represented us in our spelling bee. We did such a great job, such a great job. So nice job if you were participating. Even if you didn't compete against the whole school, but you competed in your classroom, that's so much bravery. Really, really nice job. Let's go ahead and get started reading the spelling bee. All right, friends, I want you to pause your video and read these pages out loud now. All right, there are some juicy words on those pages. I know that scholars were reading through the words and not guessing. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Pause your video and read through these pages now. Nice job, friends. I want to review the names really quickly so you're not getting tricked. The main character's name is Jasmine. Her name is. The boy's name is Finn. The boy's name is. And the teacher's name is Mr. Russo. His name is. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. Let's go to the next page. Friends, pause your video and read through these 2 pages now. Oh, I see that Jasmine is having some different feelings. Let's go to the next page and see what happens. Pause your video and read through these pages now. Excellent job reading through the words. Let's go to the next page. Pause your video and read through these questions now. Ooh, page 12 was juicy. Friends, what word did Jasmine have to spell in front of the school? What word did she have to spell in front of the school? Yeah, that word that starts with the C on this page that's in bold letters. This word is caterpillar. This word is. Raise your hand if when you got to that word, you read through that word instead of guessing. I hope that you read through that word because I see some blends, ends, and vowel themes in that word. So nice job. That's a juicy 2nd grade word, caterpillar. Let's go to the next page. Pause your video and read through these questions now. Read through these pages now. Nice job. Let's go to the last 2 pages. Pause your video and read through these pages now. Excellent job with your reading and your reading through the word. Now we're going to go ahead and answer some questions about the book. All right, my first question is, how does Finn feel when he's doing the spelling bee? How does Finn feel when he's in the spelling bee? I want you to look at pages 3 and 4, look at the pictures and the words, and tell me how Finn feels when he's in the spelling bee. Pause your video and answer the question now. In the story, I see that Finn is looking down and he's kind of frowning. So that makes me think, ooh, I'm getting ready for my inference. So that makes me think that Finn might be worried or scared, or maybe he's nervous about being in the spelling bee. Excellent job. Let's go ahead to the next page. How does Jasmine feel when she wins the spelling bee in her classroom? How does Jasmine feel when she wins the spelling bee in her classroom? Pause your video and answer the question now. In the story, I see that Jasmine smiled. It says Jasmine smiled and she spelled the word the right way. So that makes me think that Jasmine is happy or excited or thrilled that she won her class spelling bee. Nice job. Let's go to page 6. How does Finn feel? How does Finn feel when Jasmine said she might have to spell baby words like the ones from today? How does Finn feel when Jasmine says she might have to spell baby words like the ones from today? Pause your video and answer the question now. In the story, I read that Finn looked sad when Jasmine said that. So that makes me think that Finn is not happy with Jasmine, or Finn is feeling sorry for himself, or he's feeling sad that he lost the spelling bee and that Jasmine won the spelling bee. Nice job. Let's go ahead to the next page. Next question. How does Jasmine feel on pages 7 and 8? How does Jasmine feel when she sees that she has to go against big kids in the spelling bee? Pause your video and answer that question now. On page 7, I see Jasmine who's looking around at the other big kids like this. So that makes me think that she's nervous about going up against big kids. On page 8, I see that Jasmine says, I think I'm going to win the spelling bee. So that makes me think that Jasmine might be nervous but she's also confident in herself. She believes in herself. She thinks that she's going to win. So Jasmine is nervous because there are big kids around her, but she's also a little bit confident because she says, I think I'm going to win. Let's go to the next page. Why does Jasmine feel nervous? Pause your video and answer that question now. In the story, I read that the whole school was at the spelling bee. So that makes me think, I'm using my schema to think about what I know about spelling bees. So the whole school was at the spelling bee. So that makes me think that Jasmine is nervous because she's going to have to spell words in front of every student at her school. Nice job, you got that inference correct. Let's go ahead to the next page. What happened when Jasmine had to spell the word caterpillar? What happened when Jasmine had to spell the word caterpillar? You should have said that Jasmine got the word wrong, or she misspelled the word caterpillar, or she did not get it correct. Nice job. And we also see on page 11 that Jasmine looks like this. So what emotion is Jasmine feeling on page 11? Yeah, she's nervous or scared or frightened of spelling in front of the school. Good job. Let's go ahead to the next page. Why does Jasmine think about how she made Finn feel? Why does Jasmine think about how she made Finn feel? Pause your video and answer that question now. In the story I read that Jasmine got out on her first word during the spelling bee, and she looked out at Finn and thought about how she made him feel. That makes me think that Jasmine feels apologetic, or she feels sorry for the way that she made Finn feel when he got out during the spelling bee. Because when Jasmine got out, she looked out into the crowd and saw Finn and remembered that she made him feel bad by saying that the words were baby words in the spelling bee. So on this page, I see that she thought about how she made him feel, which makes me think, I'm making an inference. It makes me think that Jasmine feels bad or feels sorry for the way that she made Finn feel yesterday. Let's go to the last page. How does Jasmine know how Finn felt? How did Jasmine know how Finn felt about getting out of the spelling bee? Pause your video and answer the question now. Jasmine knows how Finn felt because Finn got out in the spelling bee and Jasmine got out in the spelling bee. They both got out, so they know how each other feels. Last question is, what lesson did Jasmine learn in this story? What lesson did Jasmine learn in this story? In the story I read that Jasmine apologizes to Finn and she says, it's okay to fail, but it's not okay to be mean. And that you never know how each other's feel unless you're in their shoes. Unless you're in their shoes. I'm so sorry, my friends. So that's what Jasmine's lesson is. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to be mean. And you never know how others feel unless you're in their shoes. Excellent job. Give yourself 2 claps and 2 more. Beautiful job. All right, let's go ahead to the last question, which is my challenge question. It says, do you think Jasmine would have apologized to Finn if she had won the spelling bee? Why do you think that? So before you answer, let's remember that Jasmine got out in the spelling bee. And so that is why she, oh, friends, we got little sounds on deck today. That is why so Jasmine lost and she felt bad for apologizing for making Finn feel bad. So she apologizes. But what do you think Jasmine would have done if she won the spelling bee? Pause your video and answer that question now. All right, now remember, this is a 2nd grade question. This is a challenge question. This is supposed to make your brain really, really think. So I think that if Jasmine won the spelling bee, she might not have apologized to Finn because she wouldn't know what it felt like to lose. But because she lost, just like Finn lost, she'd know how he was feeling inside. But if she had won, maybe she wouldn't have apologized to Finn because maybe she wouldn't have realized that she was mean. Scholars, maybe you thought that Jasmine still would have apologized to Finn. That's a good prediction too. Maybe you think that Jasmine still would have apologized to Finn because maybe she knew that she was mean to him in the beginning of the story. Those are both excellent answers. Really, really, really nice job if you did that challenge question and getting your brain bigger for second grade. Let's go to the last page of our lesson today. All right, now I like this picture, friends, because this scholar wrote the words, "I can't do it." But then the scholar erased the T in can't. So now it says, "I can do it." Put your thumbs up, back down too slow. Thumbs up. Let's say, "I can do it." Your turn. My turn. "I can do it." Your turn. Yes, friends, you can do it. You've been working so hard on your online learning. Keep going, keep watching your videos, keep doing your reading and your Zern and your Lexia. You guys are doing an excellent job. I'm very, very proud of you. So keep up the good work, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, friends.